College money traps. Now this is something that not too many people talk about, mainly because when you headed off to college, the only thing you're really thinking about is what you're going to major in, who's your roommate, and how many parties you can go to in 1 week. But as a college freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, there are some things that you need to look out for financially in order to keep yourself in good standing. What are those things exactly, you may ask? Well, I made a list of the top 7 money traps that you need to avoid in college in order to avoid going bankrupt before you get your degree. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anfernee McLemore, and to get right into the video, the number 1 money trap that you need to avoid in college is credit cards. Now, I know what you may be thinking already. Okay, this is just another generic video talking about not to get in credit card debt, not to get in student loan debt, yada, yada, yada.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
No, all the 7 things I'm going to talk about in this video are mistakes that I actually made, and I want to help you avoid those same mistakes with credit cards being on the top of that list. Now, if you're like me, and I would guess the average college student, then you will be coming into college with absolutely zero credit history at all. And as you start to get closer and closer to adulthood, you'll start to get some credit card offers in the mail, and some of them may pique your interest. You may get offers from cashback cards, travel reward cards, a lot of different offers, and I'm sure you'll take advantage of one of them. And once you decide to open that first line of credit, that's when it all pretty much goes downhill. Well, for me anyways. That is because most college students get access to a credit card before they get access to the knowledge of how to use it responsibly. Let's take my situation for example. My first credit card was with the bank USAA with about a $2,000 credit limit. And because I was always somewhat financially conscious, I knew that I couldn't max out this card all at once or else I would be in some deep trouble financially. However, that did not stop me from buying a $300 DSLR camera that I really couldn't afford because I knew I could make payments on that $300 balance over time. Now at the time I was only making about $900 a month, so this one camera was about a third of my monthly income. And I believe that that situation right there is where the problem comes with most college students. You see, when you get a credit card, and especially when you get a monthly statement in the mail, it is very easy to spend a lot of money on that card. And then when the monthly statement comes, you only have to pay about $50 to $60 on a $500 to $1,000 balance. And I believe that this encourages overspending and getting yourself into unnecessary debt that you would have to end up paying back at a 22 to 25% interest rate. And keep in mind, a good return for the stock market on average is about 8 to 10%. And if you carry a credit card balance over from month to month, you end up paying over 20%, which just is insanely high for a monthly balance. So would my recommendation be to avoid credit cards altogether? Well, absolutely not. I think you should open a credit card to build credit history, but you have to be really conscious on how much you spend on that credit card and make sure you only spend what you can pay back within that month or within a 2-month period. But moving on to the second money trap while being in college, and that is auto loans. Now, auto loans are a tricky one because not everyone encounters this situation. But again, for my situation personally, I was in a position where I needed a car and my parents couldn't provide one for me. So me being 18 years old at the time, I began typing on the internet, looking up how much I can qualify for an auto loan. Once again, because I was 18 years old and just barely got a credit card, my credit score was about 600 or maybe a little bit higher than that. It definitely wasn't great by any means, but somehow I got pre-approved for a $12,000 auto loan, which I can use to go towards my next car. And what does a fiscally irresponsible 18-year-old do when he gets a pre-approved for $12,000? Well, what he definitely doesn't do is buy a $2,000 used car that can last him for a long time.
You stupid.
But instead he buys a $13,000 Jeep, $1,000 above his pre-approved amount for a 15% interest rate.
You played yourself.
This is because no one really taught me the value of not trying to keep up with the Joneses or not trying to get the fanciest car on the block. I believe on a month-to-month basis, I was paying $300+ for that car plus insurance, which was definitely an unnecessary expense considering I was only making $900 a month. So my recommendation for college students is that if you do have to buy a car for yourself and you do have to get an auto loan, go to a used car lot and get a reliable car. Get a Toyota Prius, get a Honda Civic. Don't try to get the fanciest car so that you can look nice to your friends. If I can go back to time, I would buy that $2,000 used car because it would save me so much money in the long run from interest, from insurance costs, from so many things had I just opted for the older and more reliable car in the beginning. But this leads me to the third money trap, and this one isn't as noticeable as the first two, but the third money trap that you can make while being in college is applying to too many subscription services. As a college student, I thought I needed every subscription service under the sun. I subscribed to Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu Live, food memberships, the whole 9 yards, which ended up totaling in excess of $150 a month. Now the thing with subscription services is that they are really easy to forget about and they can really eat away at your monthly income if you are not careful with them. Once I really sat down to take a look at my budget and take a look at all of my expenses, I found out that I was paying for subscription services that I hadn't even used in months, which was definitely a waste of money that I could have been using to save, to pay off my credit card debt that I recently had, or my auto loans. And all in all, it made for a really irresponsible situation in terms of handling my money. So obviously my recommendation would be to don't load up on subscription services. Only subscribe to the things that you are genuinely going to use on a month-to-month basis. For example, I kept Netflix, but on my Hulu subscription, I downgraded to the cheapest possible option, which was I think about $6 at a time. time. And if you do see a service that you're interested in, see if they have a free trial version that you can try it for a while in order for you to really see if you are going to use it or not. And this leads me to the fourth money trap that can get you while you're in college, and that is private student loans.
Had to pay for books, so I took out loans to feed the boy.
Now, I'm not talking about the federal student loans that you can get from your FAFSA or all of that good stuff. I'm talking about the privately available student loans that are not backed by any federal institution. Now, these loans are especially tricky because they draw you in with the promise of fast cash. They can look like partial scholarships, they can look like gifts from charities, but any way that they look, the difference between these loans and the loans that you get from your FAFSA is that they usually have a way higher interest rate and they are not backed by the federal government. Meaning that instead of paying Sally Mae back, you'll be paying some old rich dude in the Bahamas who is earning a great living on the excess interest payments that you are making. So my recommendation regarding private student loans is to avoid them like the plague. If you do find yourself in need of some extra money, I would say always go through the channels of your institution so that you can get a loan from your FAFSA or any other federally backed institution. This will provide you with more stability in terms of interest rate, and it will also protect you in terms of a national emergency where federal student loans go into forbearance and you don't have to pay them back for a few months. But moving on to the fifth money thing that can trap you while in college, and that is technology. As we all know, millennials like myself love their technology. As soon as a new iPhone, MacBook, iMac, any new technology comes out, we have to have it that day. And having this mindset really put me into a bind while I was in college. I found myself getting a new iPhone 7, iPhone 8, iPhone X while being in college when I absolutely couldn't afford it. These phones cost $1,000+ in some cases, and even being on a phone plan where you can upgrade your device, it still will cost an extra $40 or $50 a month just to make payment plans on that device. And the reason why getting new technology every year is such a bad idea is, one, you're buying a depreciating asset. As soon as you take that new phone out of the box, it will never be worth $1,000 again. Even if you keep it in great condition, no scratches whatsoever, you will instantly lose $250 of equity in that phone as soon as you put your fingerprint on it. While at the same time, if you're trading in your device for a new one every year, you're basically only leasing your device and your payments are going nowhere because you're giving the phone back to the company that issued it for the newer model. So my recommendation for new technology would be to find a model that you really love. Whether it's the iPhone X, iPhone 8, or a MacBook Pro, find a model that really suits you and that you really enjoy using. This is because while in college, your focus shouldn't be on getting the fanciest device. Your focus should be on saving as much money as possible so that once you do get out of college, you'll have a platform where you can launch the rest of your life off of and not be in a sunken place full of debt. But moving on to the sixth money trap, and the next two aren't necessarily things but sort of mindsets, and the sixth money trap is not having a budget. Now this one goes for people who aren't in college as well, but as a college student, this is the perfect time for you to start to learn how to track your income and your expenses. There are a ton of apps out there like Mint and Personal Capital that can help you do this automatically, but if you're like me and you want to input all of the amounts manually, you can use a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or you can use a Google Sheets spreadsheet in order to do your budget for you. Whatever way you like to do it, establishing a good budgeting process in college can set you up for the rest of your life in terms of managing your finances responsibly. Figure out a savings rate that makes you comfortable. Figure out how you're going to make your debt payments. Figure out how you're going to make more money if you're going into more debt every single month. But at the end of the day, you have to take out that taboo atmosphere that's regarding personal finance and take a deep look at what you're doing right and what you could be doing better in terms of your finances. But that leads me to the last money trap that you can make while being in college, and this one is absolutely the biggest one, and that is by not investing your money early. As an 18-year-old kid, your biggest asset is your time horizon. Even if you invested $1 a day into an S&P 500 index fund, you have a much better chance of becoming a millionaire than a 60-year-old who invested $1,000 a day. That is because you will have time and compound interest working in your favor, meaning that after a while, your money will start to work for you, and then you will start to see exponential growth in terms of your investment income. But the biggest conflict that most college students have around investing is that they simply don't know how to do it. But with the introduction of Robinhood and zero commissions on many different platforms, it has never been easier to get started investing and getting started letting your money work for you. One of the best books that I read in my life was called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And the main premises behind that book was that the rich don't work for money, their money works for them. And how their money works for them is by them buying asset that pays them every single month or year. So as a college student, I would definitely recommend you educate yourself on how to get started investing early and get started investing often. Put your investments on autopilot and forget about it and just let it grow. But with all that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found any kind of value in this video, I would really appreciate it if you smash the like button for your boy, as it really does help my channel out and allows me to reach a larger audience. And if you like free money, use the Webull link in the description below. And if you sign up and deposit $100, you will get 2 free stock, with one of them potentially being valued up to $1,600. And with that being said, I really hope that you did find value in this video, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.